Welcome back, beautiful souls. Today we walk gently but powerfully into one of the most vital thresholds of our healing, reclaiming deep worth. This is the fourth episode of our sacred series inspired by the woman who runs with the wolves, by Dr. Clarissa Pinkola Estés. Each week we dive into the archetypal wisdom, personal sovereignty, and mythic storytelling to awaken the wild essence within each of us. But today, we slow down because we're entering the terrain of the forgotten self, the part of us that was buried under shame, rejection, and self-abandonment. And we are going to bring her or him back. This episode is for you if you have ever felt unworthy, invisible, too much, or not enough. This is for you if your value has been measured by what you do, not who you are. And this is for all of us, men, women, and non-binary folk, walking the soul path of remembering that we are enough, inherently and eternally. Welcome to Spiritual Midwife, the podcast that tenderly guides you through the transformative journey of spiritual awakening and personal development towards the ultimate destination of soul sovereignty. I'm Clarissa, a medicine woman and dedicated guide to the profound realm of soul sovereignty, and you are listening to Spiritual Midwife. So let's begin with the truth most of us weren't taught. The value of the soul is not in what it achieves, but in its presence. Yet from the earliest age we were measured. Grades, performance, appearance, success, productivity, perfection, obedience. Some of us learned that being good meant pleasing others, that being valuable meant proving ourselves, that being desirable meant shrinking, hiding, or performing. This conditioning disconnects us from the inner wild, the true self, who knows its worth is unconditional. Dr. Estés calls this the exile of the wild soul, a psychological and spiritual displacement that causes the inner being to retreat, often for survival. She says, "The doors to the world of the wild self are few but precious. If you have a deep scar, that is a door. If you have an old story, that is a door. If you love the sky and the water so much you can almost not bear it, that is a door." When we lose connection to our worth, we lose connection to our inner child, the original self who was curious, instinctive, creative, and wise. This child wasn't born with shame, she was taught it. He was told that feeling was weakness. They were conditioned to perform lovableness. So here's a quick exercise if you're not driving and if you are in a safe space of meeting your inner child. I have done videos, many videos on this over on my YouTube channel, which you can check out if you want to do something on a deeper level. But just a very quick exercise that you can actually do is to just take a few deep breaths, place your hand on your heart, close your eyes, and gently ask, where is my inner child hiding? What do they look like? What are they feeling? And most importantly, what do they need? As I said, it's a really simple practice and it's best used daily. Even if it's just for 2-3 minutes. This can begin to rebuild the bridge between your forgotten self and your adult self. So let's look what the skeleton woman, the tale of death and return, is all about. One of the most potent stories in Women Who Run with the Wolves is the skeleton woman, the tale of a woman cast into the sea, bones tangled and forgotten, until a fisherman unknowingly hauls her up from the deep. This is not a story of horror, but of resurrection. She represents the parts of us that was discarded, the unloved, the dismembered parts of our being that we must now fish from the unconsciousness and bring back to life. To love means to stay with. Skeleton Woman teaches us that a lover must be able to tolerate the unloved, unlived, and dishevelled aspects of the beloved and of themselves. We cannot reclaim our worth without being willing to witness our own skeleton woman. The forgotten story, the unmet needs, the grief we buried to survive. The modern world is addicted to the idea that value is earned, that worth is based on comparison, competition, and consumerism. But soul does not function in hierarchy. It functions in wholeness. Your soul is not asking you to be better. It is asking you to be whole. And wholeness includes your light and your shadow, your joy and your grief, your ambition and your stillness. And in reclaiming our worth, we stop trying to prove ourselves and begin to be ourselves. So let's explore some ways we can embody our worth, not just conceptually, but in a practical way. The practice of a radical self-affirmation. And most people hate this one, but it is immensely powerful if you can push yourselves out of your comfort zone. Daily, look in the mirror and with heart affirm, I am enough. I do not need to earn love. My existence is sacred. I forgive myself for forgetting my worth. And if that feels so desperately uncomfortable, and this is where listening to your body's reactions come in a very big way, if that feels desperately uncomfortable, change it for I am learning I am enough. I am learning I do not need to earn love. I am learning my existence is sacred. I am learning to forgive myself for forgetting my worth. Or affirmations that feel and resonate with what you need in that moment. But there is great power in looking ourselves in the eye, in a mirror, and reciting positive self-affirmations. Write a letter from your skeleton woman. Write it as if she was speaking to you. What does she want you to remember? What does she want you to release? What does she want you to honour? When I'm writing these types of letters, I really like to go into that meditative trance state. And so I will very often sit in front of my altar, put some relaxing music on, do some breath work, and connect with my spiritual team, my guides, in a meditative state. And then I will just pick up the pen and I will just allow the flow to come through, my higher consciousness to speak. And then I read it afterwards, and it is enlightening what comes out when you allow yourself to do that. You disengage the logical, egoic aspect of yourself and you allow your spirit to flow freely. Worth-based boundaries. This is massive. Most of us struggle with boundaries, but as you start to learn and understand what a boundary is and how to put it in place, worth-based boundaries need to be your foundation. So ask yourself, where am I saying yes when I mean no? What drains me that I tolerate because I don't want to seem difficult? And choose one boundary a week and honour it. Not only does it put that boundary in place, but it really builds self-confidence to keep doing it. And a ceremony of return can be absolutely beautiful and powerful. Light a candle, play some sacred music and say aloud, I call back every piece of my soul that I abandoned, rejected, or disowned. I am whole, I am worthy, I am wild, I am here. When you reclaim your worth, your true purpose begins to emerge. Not the career goal or the 5-year plan, but the soul longing to serve, create, love, and express itself fully. The most important thing is not to have conquered the world, but to have come home to yourself. When we know we are enough, we act from love, not lack. When we know we are enough, we create from inspiration, not from insecurity. When we know we are enough, we stop performing and we start living. So as we bring this to a close, take a deep breath. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are not too much or not enough. You are a wild, wise soul, remembering your way home. This week I invite you to honour your skeleton woman. Let her rise. Let her speak. Let her remind you of your power and your pain. Hold her in love. So, beautiful souls, thank you for joining me in this sacred space. If this episode stirred something within you, please share it with another. Share the medicine. You are deeply worthy of love, rest, joy, and expression, just as you are. In our next episode, we'll explore the archetype of the soulful lover, integrating sensuality, sacred sexuality, and the deep longing to be known, not just touched. Until then, walk in beauty, walk in truth, walk in remembrance. You have been listening to Spiritual Midwife, signing off for now.